everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner, and welcome to the mid-year book freakout tag, which is basically an institution here on BookTube now. Pretty much everyone films one of these. I tried to save mine for as close to the end of June as I could. That's just the way that I roll. There's only a couple of days left in June as I'm filming this, so I think it's a pretty good time to film it. In this video, I'm going to talk about a few of my stats for the first half of the reading year. I'm going to answer the tag questions, and if you would like to give me some feedback on how my videos are going, feel free to use the link for a short survey that is in the description. So let's talk about some of my reading stats for the first half of the year. At the time of filming this video, I have read 236 books so far this year, and I'll put a little breakdown by month on the screen. My most read genre this year is unsurprisingly romance books, but there's also a general breakdown of the other genres if you'd like to take a look at it. All of these graphs come from my reading spreadsheet, which I will leave a link to my video explaining how that all works on the screen. So far this year I've read 60,027 pages, but again there is a breakdown of how many pages I read each month. My best reading month so far this year is January, which is unsurprising because that's our summer holidays here and I read a lot of books in January, and my slowest reading month was March in terms of page numbers. I have acquired 114 physical books this year, and of those physical books I have read 81, which leaves 33 unread, which is actually not a bad ratio. I have reread 32 books, which means that 203 of the books that I have read so far this year are new to me books. I've also read 70 new to me authors. 165 of the books are read by authors I've read previously. So those are some reading stats. Let's jump into the mid-year book freakout questions. So the first question is the best book you have read so far in 2021. For me, I'm going to go with Neon Gods by Katee Robert. So far, I've read a lot of really good books, but this is one that I really wanted to talk about. It is a Hades and Persephone retelling. It is kind of a dark suspense romance. It is really, really fun. It tangentially ties itself into the Wicked Villains world if you know who the characters are in both books, which is a really nice nod to readers of Katee Roberts' works. But it is a new series that is being traditionally published, and it is so fun. It is one of the best Hades and Persephone retellings that I have read. I'm fully invested in all of these characters, and even though they're not going to be the main characters in subsequent books in the series, I know that the series itself is going to be a whole lot of fun. Question 2 is the best sequel that you've read so far in 2021, and for me that is Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert, which is my favourite book in the Brown Sisters trilogy. It is the final book. I love Eve Brown so much. This was such a fun book. Eve is the youngest of the Brown sisters. Her parents don't think she's taking life seriously because she flits through hobbies and jobs like they're going out of fashion. She ends up stumbling across this bed and breakfast place and on a whim applies for a job there with no resume and no experience, then hits the owner with her car and ends up staying to help him run the kitchen while he's out of action. Both the hero and the heroine in the story are neurodiverse, and they're both discovering a lot of things about themselves and each other along the way. It is a glorious, glorious book. I loved all of the books in the Brown Sisters trilogy, but nothing tops this one. It was amazing. Question 3 is the new release that you haven't read that you really want to. I love Becky Chambers' books, but I have a feeling that I've been putting this one off because this is the last of the Wayfarer books and I just don't know what to do with myself. This is going to be read in July. I have to read it because I've just been putting it off. This is sci-fi. It is one of my favorite series of all time. I know I will love it, but you know when you have those books that you know that you're going to love and you don't want to let them go? It's been sitting there staring at me since it came out. Question 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have a few. So Nalini Singh has 2 books coming out later in the year. She has Last Guard, which is the next book in the Changeling series, which I'm desperate to read. She has Archangel's Light that's coming out. That is the next book in the Guild Hunter series. Also desperate to read that. I want to know if she's gonna do what I hope she does or whether she does something completely different. Leviathan Falls by James S.A. Corey comes out. That is the final book in the Expanse series, which is another favourite science fiction series. So I desperately want to read that book and just get the conclusion to the story. And also Saint by Simone is coming out, and I'd completely forgotten that there was a 3rd book coming out, and now that I know, I'm just desperate to read it. There are also plenty of others, but those are my top 4. Question 5 is your biggest disappointment, and for me I think that has to be Better Off Read by Rebekah Weatherspoon because I've really enjoyed everything that I've read by her. But this one just fell really flat for me. I was really sad by that because I was really pumped to love it and I just didn't. I just felt that it was very slow and it dragged and there wasn't much that happened in the story. So that's unfortunate, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to keep reading Rebekah Weatherspoon because I've loved all of her more recent works. So I'm just going to keep working through her back catalogue and see which ones I enjoy and which ones aren't for me. The next question is your biggest surprise, and I don't know what I was thinking about the series and why I wouldn't like it. Possibly because it seems to be more fantasy, but it's really not. It's actually more sci-fi. And had I known that, I probably would have picked this up sooner. And that is Clean Sweep by Ilona Andrews. This series is amazing, and I don't hear enough people talk about it. It is so fun. It is urban fantasy sci-fi, and it's glorious. You have vampires and werewolves. You have people running sentient inns that are intergalactic stopover places for people who are traveling around the universe. The whole series is great. It even features artwork inside the book, which, gosh, I wish more books did that. I mean, it would be amazing if more books included artwork because it's so fun. Question 7 is your favorite new author, debut or otherwise. Neither of mine are debut authors. I have 2. Rebekah Weatherspoon, despite the fact that I didn't enjoy Better Off Red, I've enjoyed everything else that I've read by her, and it's a total of 5 books so far this year. And also Jessica Gadziala, who I've read 20 books from. So clearly I enjoy her writing because I have just been eating up books in her back catalogue. Question 8 is newest fictional crush. This is a side character. He doesn't even have his own book yet, and that's Malachi Reese from Ocean Light by Nalini Singh. The funny thing about rereading, and in fact another character is going to pop up from the Changeling series in a minute, is with a series like this that is so heavy and dense and has a lot of characters and a lot of moving parts, the first time you read it for the main characters in the story. This entire time that I've been rereading the series, it's all the side characters that are really standing out to me now and the little things that are happening underneath. Now I'm really deeply fascinated by Malachi Reese, who is one of the Black Sea changelings. So hopefully one day he gets his own book because that would be amazing. And then your newest favourite character is Caleb Krychek from the Changeling world, because I think initially when I read Heart of Obsidian, my reading tastes weren't what they are now. And now he is a character that I find deeply, deeply fascinating just to read about. Everything that he does and everything that he says just brings me so much joy because he's a true morality chain character where all his decisions are now tempered by his partner. And he would totally destroy the world for her, but she won't let him. And I just really enjoy reading about him as a character. I think he's very, very fascinating. Question 10 is a book that made you cry. For me, that was The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune. It's just such a gorgeous book. TJ Klune writes characters so well and relationships so well. This is a science fiction suspense type story. It is absolutely glorious. It's about a man named Nate who loses all of his family and he decides to go up to a family cabin that he inherited and just sort of reassess his life. But when he gets there, he finds that there is a man called Alex currently living in his cabin with a young girl called Artemis Darth Vader, and they are on the run from something. And he ends up caught up in what's going on with them, and it is just incredible. I loved it. It's great. I don't hear anyone talking about this one. Please go and read it. The next question is a book that made you happy. For me, that was The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan. This is the follow-up to The Roommate, and it is the relationship between Naomi, who is a former porn star who has gone into positive sex education online, but she's trying to branch out into face-to-face teaching, and she ends up partnering with a rabbi who is trying to revitalize his synagogue, and they devise a series of lectures on modern intimacy, and they work alongside each other to present these to his community. I just really enjoyed this book. Actually, I think I might have teared up a little bit at one stage in this book as well, but I felt the payoff was worth it. Question 12. Question 12 is the most beautiful book that you have purchased or received this year. I have 2 of them. I purchased both of them. The first one is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, and this was totally a cover buy because I saw a display of them in a bookstore and I just went, thank you, I'll take that. And this is another Greek retelling. I'm assuming that there's some fantasy elements in it, so I will be picking this up at some point and I'll let you know what it is. And then I also have Blackwater Sister by Zen Cho. And when I pre-ordered this, I had the choice to pre-order the UK edition or the US edition, and they were both beautiful, but I just love the floral plant element of this one. So I don't know all that much about the book. Something about ghosts, and I just wanted to read it. The final question for the mid-year book freakout tag is, what books do you need to read by the end of 2021? pretty much whatever is left over from my 2020 TBR. That's part of my Book Haul Revisited series, which I'll leave a link to the playlist on the screen for you. I try and read through all my physical books by the end of the next year, just so that it's not piling up. This year I've been a little bit more lenient with myself in that, but there's still quite a few books from 2020 that I need to pick up and read. So that's the goal. All right, that is the mid-year book freakout tag for 2021. In the comments, let me know what book is still on your TBR that you need to read before the end of the year. Or if you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave your favorite space emoji in the comments. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.